you don't have an issue with discipline, but maybe instead it's your emotion. Because I don't believe people are lazy, because behavior can be driven by unmanaged emotion. Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kanchefu, and here we talk about life after therapy, in particular personal development. If you're new here, make sure you press subscribe, but if not, welcome back. So, let us begin. It's clear that emotions drive behavior. When you feel worked up, you do things frantically, you avoid things completely. When you feel calm and at peace, you can think clearer, you can put more effort and energy into what you're doing. So the behavior follows that emotional state. And if that's the case, people act on what they feel in the moment. That might be the reason to why there's been so many arguments in that particular area of your life. That might be the reason why you find yourself thriving in one area and struggling in another. Because it's almost as if that discipline breaks when emotions are involved. So if that discipline is breaking and things become frantic when emotions are present in their extreme states, with hearting positively or negatively, urges can also override those intentions. That you've set out, I'm going to do good today, I'm going to do what I've said, so on and so forth. But the urge, the emotion can cancel that instantly. Or can it? I'm curious to know, have you ever thought avoidance is emotion driven, not logic driven? And that really comes from struggling to regulate those emotions and finding that balance between working with them and not against them. If we were to create a system to help you on that, what comes to mind is naming it, normalizing it, and then navigating with it. So let's name it. You name the exact emotion in that moment. Angry, full of fire, happy, distressed, overwhelmed. Making it as specific as possible. Away from vague, I just feel lost and unhappy. Let's make it as specific and as almost as if we're touching that emotion together, so that we increase your awareness of the state you're feeling. So we name it. Let's normalize it. How can you accept that emotion with no resistance? Answer the question, so that we can lead into removing judgment from the experience we're in. Because emotion doesn't require action. It just comes as a byproduct. So we've named it, we've normalized it. Now let's navigate with it. What's the behavior you're going to exhibit independent of emotion? In other words, what are you going to do now that you feel this way? You've acknowledged it. You've understood, okay, this is how I'm feeling right now, but what are you going to do? You've given yourself the option to come from this emotion or to move on with it. And this relates to acting on your standards, not your feeling. If we're to think about it, someone's staying disciplined, they feel resistance, anxiety, and discomfort. Or moreover, they're avoiding doing tasks entirely. But contrasting that with a regulated way of behaving, a regulated way of supporting and helping yourself day to day, identifying that emotion, allowing it to have its space, not reacting, but much rather responding, can help you proceed with the planned action. A simpler way of being, a more supportive and constructive way of being to help you. So let's create some regulation reminder, okay? Pause before reacting to any given situation. Positive, negative, high, low, as small as you think, as big as you think. Pause before reacting. And let's identify and label this emotion that's creeping up. Combining that with slow breathing to stabilize this state. We don't want it to bubble up and boil, but much rather have a calm flow to it. And that will help reduce the urgency and that pressure that comes alongside with it. Because now the emotion is no longer dictating what we do, but allows us to reconnect with what we're meant to be doing and the direction we're going forth with. And now you can execute or complete the task despite the emotional presence with it. Being disciplined is a way of being, and being emotional is another way of being. But you recognize that emotions can get the better of you, disrupt things you have planned, which interfere with you trying to become disciplined, with you trying to better yourself. It doesn't have to be particularly disciplined. Using the regulation reminder is a part of that process on what things can I do to support myself with the things I struggle with. What areas do I need to notice that I become very emotional and no longer be who I am working on being day to day? Make it an intentional action, an intentional thought, and probe yourself that this is the right thing to do. Despite the chaos, despite the overwhelm, despite what sometimes feels as if there's no way out. You're here and you have these conversations with me because you believe in yourself. You want to improve yourself. You want to see yourself grow. And I know you can. And that's where I'm going to leave it. If you enjoyed today's discussion, make sure you press subscribe and share this video with a friend or family member you know is struggling with emotions and discipline and everything in between. My name is Kanchefu. This is the beginning of learning, not suppressing your emotions, but learning how to manage them. So I ask you, what emotion do you feel is defeating you, because that's how you reclaim your control over behavior. My name is Kanchefu once more. Have a good day, morning, night, or evening for everyone in the world watching this, and I'll see you next week for our next discussion.